Chesed El, God of loving kindness. Your steadfast love moves beyond the veil. Even in silence, you arrange deliverance and stir hearts to fulfill your covenant. I walk into risk, trusting in your mercy. Yehovah Elohi Chesed El, Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Please fill me and lead me and cover me and stir me and speak through me with your Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness and humility to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. We'll start with the Shema. Listen and obey. Children of Yehovah, pay careful attention and respond. Yehovah is our power and authority. Yehovah works in unity with himself, and you shall act upon your love to Yehovah with your power and authority, with your thoughts and mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. Hin, behold, Nail, behold. Esther, chapter 5. On the third day, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner courtyard of the king's palace, opposite the king's hall. The king was sitting on his royal throne in the king's hall, across from the entrance to the hall. When the king saw Aleph Tav, Esther the queen, standing in the courtyard, she won his favor. So the king extended the gold scepter in his hand toward Esther. Esther approached and touched the tip of the Aleph Tav scepter. "What is it that you want, Queen Esther?" the king asked her. "Whatever your request, up to half of the kingdom, it will be given to you." "If it is all right with the king," answered Esther, let the king and Haman come today to the banquet I have prepared for him," the king said. "Bring Aleph Tav Haman quickly, so that Aleph Tav, what Esther has asked for, can be done." So the king and Haman came to the banquet Esther had prepared. At the banquet of wine, the king asked again. At the banquet of wine, the king again said to Esther, "Whatever you request, you will be granted. You'll be granted it. Whatever you want, up to half the kingdom, it will be done." Then Esther answered, "My request, what I want, is this. If I have won the king's favor, if it pleases the king to grant Aleph Tav my request, and to do Aleph Tav what I want, let the king and Haman come to the banquet, which I will prepare for them, and tomorrow I will do as the king has said." That day Haman went out happy and in good spirits. But when Haman saw Aleph Tav Mordecai at the king's gate, that he neither rose nor moved for him, Haman was infuriated with Mordecai. Nevertheless, Haman restrained himself and went home, where he summoned and brought his Aleph Tav friends and Aleph Tav Zeresh his wife. Haman boasted to them that his vast Aleph Tav wealth, his many sons, and everything connected with him, how the king had promoted him and given him precedence over the other officers and servants of the king. Indeed, Haman added, "Esther the queen, let nobody into the banquet with the king that she had prepared except myself. And tomorrow too, I am invited by her together with the king. Yet none of this does me any good as long as I keep seeing Aleph Tav Mordecai, the Jew, remaining seated at the king's gate." At this, Jairus, his wife, and all his friends said to him, "Have a gallows 75 feet high constructed, and in the morning speak to the king about having Aleph Tav Mordecai hanged on it. Then go in and enjoy yourself with the king at his banquet." Haman liked the idea, so he had the gallows made. How can we learn to love our Creator after reading this interesting, twisted chapter 5 of Esther? We can love Yehovah by walking in obedience even when he is silent. Love Yehovah by trusting his unseen hand in moments of risk. Love Yehovah by cultivating courage rooted in covenant loyalty. How can we love our neighbors as Yeshua loves us? Speaking and acting on behalf of others, especially when their lives or dignity are in danger. How can we bear one another's burdens today? By stepping into uncomfortable spaces, like Esther before the king, to advocate for the voiceless. What are the top 3 fruits of the Spirit found? 1. Faithfulness. Esther's actions are a steady display of covenant loyalty to her people and God. 2. Self-control. Her restraint is not rushing her request, models wisdom in divine timing. 3. Goodness. Her intercession flows from a heart aligned with righteousness and justice. What is the Hebrew word that encapsulates this chapter? Chen, grace, favor, charm. Reference, verse 2. She won his favor. Anchor sentence. Esther's favor wasn't earned by beauty, it was bestowed by divine grace for a greater purpose. Et Sefer Insight, Chen, amplified meaning, a divine grace that shelters life and multiplies mercy in hidden places. How can we find Yeshua in the chapter? Esther enters the king's throne room uninvited, just as Yeshua enters the heavenly throne to intercede. His favor is not unlike the righteousness believers gain in Yeshua's name. Her delay reflects Yeshua's measured timing in revealing the fullness of redemption. Mitzvah response, Torah-based, mitzvah. Leviticus 19, verse 16. Do not stand by idly when your neighbor's life is at stake. A response might look like this: I will not withhold bold action when justice and compassion demand I speak. Hebrew declaration, Bechen telech lefni melech u vitech el chesed Yehovah. With grace I walk before the king and trust in the loving kindness of Yehovah. We'll end with the Aaronic blessing using the name. Yehovah will kneel before you presenting gifts, and he will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yehovah will illuminate the wholeness of his being toward you, bringing order, and he'll provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yehovah will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you, and set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Shalom, shalom.